Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be talking about the 222 gateway, which is reaching its crescendo on February 22nd, 2022. As you can sense, that date has a lot of twos. And for those of you who follow this channel or follow numerology in general, you'll know that when we have these dates with these repeating sequences of numbers, they open up what we call these portals, right? These huge gateways of energy that have incredible potential and where we are receiving a lot cosmically. And so there's major cycles that unfold with relevance to these number sequences. On this channel, we talk about all the portals, right? The 2-2, the 3-3, anywhere where we have these repeating numbers. And the significance of each of these portals in relation to the energy of those numbers and whatever else is coming through. So many of you may have caught the 2-2 portal video that I did with Pete from the Chosen 144. If you haven't, I'm going to link that in the description box below, as well as the Mars Venus Pluto triple conjunction / Venus retrograde video that I did, because the energies of that are very relevant to this energy as well. And if you haven't seen those videos yet, they're really going to give you a deeper understanding of the energies that we're working with here. I'm also going to be doing a live on 2/22/22 with Pete on the Chosen 144 channel. So I highly recommend that you guys check that out when it airs, because we're going to be going a lot deeper into these things. Pete always has some really fun, interesting things to add. And it's going to be a totally different video from this one. So definitely check that out. But this energy is related to that 2-2 portal. We've really been in a gateway of energy since then. But what makes this date so important, and the reason why it's getting so much traction and people are so interested in it, is that this cycle of twos actually began back in 2000 with the 2-2 portal in the year 2000. And we've been working through these energies and working through a major cycle of these energies for the last 22 years. We're not going to have another cycle with this 2 energy until 2222. So we got quite a ways to go. So what we're really doing now is closing out this major cycle and then initiating a brand new cycle that we're going to be experiencing and working with all the way until 2222. Which most of us won't. Well, actually, I'm not going to say that. In our current linear reality, we would not be alive to see that happen. Where we're moving with the New Earth 5D, aging is going to be different than it is today, and we all may very well still be alive for that. So I'm not going to say that we're not going to be alive, but if we were, depending, right, if we're looking in this linear reality, this is a cycle for the rest of our lives that we're initiating and beginning. If we're looking from the larger reality where we understand that time is only an illusion, we may experience another cycle later on down the road. So I'll leave that to you to determine what feels true and what resonates for you. And I do want to say that just because we're starting this new cycle, it doesn't mean that if you end up in a specific pattern or you haven't closed something out, you're doomed to continue in that energy for the rest of your lifetime. It does not mean that. We're always able to shift and change. These energies just give us powerful gateways where the energies are supporting us very powerfully in doing what it is that we're attempting to do and bringing things to our attention. But we are in complete control of our lives. We get to decide when we're going to close out a cycle, right? And just because we're closing out a cycle now relating to this energy that we're going to get into in a second, doesn't mean that that's the last chapter, the last time we're going to be revisiting energies. It is a process, but this is a big turning point, and we have the capability of jumping to and starting a brand new timeline, both for ourselves and for the collective energy. So when we're working with this 2 energy, the most important aspect of this energy that we've been working with for the last 22 years especially is the energy of relationship. And I want to jump in here and sort of segue for a second and really help highlight the fact that the last 22 years we've been really having this brought to our attention so that we can close out these cycles. But these are cycles that we've carried with us from lifetimes of incarnations on this planet. These are cycles that our ancestors experienced. These are cycles that humanity has experienced for millennia. And so they're not new within the last 22 years. It's just that we've really had a focus on it. And we've really been given an opportunity to see what it is that we're repeating and what it is that's ready to close out so that something new can begin. And so we've been looking and focusing a lot with relationships. And a lot with our own masculine and feminine energies and the way that these energies interplay within us, as well as the outer play of these energies when they relate to each other in the world. And we've seen how this energy, the masculine and feminine energies, have related to each other in the past, right? The toxic elements of that relationship. The ways that the masculine energy has been sort of twisted into a more toxic form. And the feminine energy, as a result, has also been twisted into a more toxic form. And the way those energies have become unbalanced. And we see this a lot with the energies of power, right? As we are moving into this new earth, we are moving out of this energy of power over, which is traditionally a distorted masculine energy, into the energy of power with, which is traditionally looked at as a feminine energy, right? And so we've really seen the ways that the masculine energy, when it became detached from the feminine energy, became twisted and morphed itself into something that was unhealthy. And we've seen all the systems that were born out of that energy, right? That energy of conquering, that energy of power over, that energy of being fearful of not having enough, of needing to show our dominance through control, through violence, through all of these other channels and avenues, right? And we've seen the way that distorted masculine energy, which is only in balance when it's in harmony with the feminine, right, has then also sort of asserted that power over the feminine. And we've seen the ways that the feminine energy has been oppressed, suppressed, and repressed. And the result that has had on the feminine energy. We've seen the way our sexual energies have been distorted as well through this interplay of energies, right? Through the usurping of our sexual power for the gain and the, what's the word that I want to use here? Not profit necessarily. It is profit, but it's more than that. Through just the ways that these controlling interest entities or energies on our planet have sort of taken advantage of that energy, right? Everything that they do is all about disempowering us. And there are many ways that they do that, separating us and splintering us off from our connection to both our masculine and our feminine energy, creating this negative interplay of energy between the two energies, usurping our sexual energy, usurping our creative force, right? These are some of the ways that this energy has worked, and we've seen the way that these plays of energy have gone on throughout history. So there's a big energy of correcting that. There's a big energy with this 222 gateway, with this sequence, especially in these last 22 years that we've had this major climax of this cycle with this 2 energy. We've seen the ways that we've been seeking to bring harmony and balance back into the relationship of the masculine and the feminine, both without and within, right? Because remember, everything that happens without is a reflection of what happens within. We have become disconnected from our own intuition, right? Which is our feminine energy, from a lot of aspects of that beautiful feminine energy, because that energy was viewed as weak for so long on this planet. That energy was viewed as secondary, as less than. Right? And therefore, the feminine form and the feminine energy and the physical expression of feminine energy has been viewed as those things as well. So it's really, that's what, when we talk about the rise of the divine feminine, that's what we're talking about, is reclaiming our feminine essence and energy and the true power that lies within that energy. But it's not about reclaiming it so that we can dominate the masculine. It's about reclaiming it so we can bring healing to the masculine and bring the masculine back into balance as well. So these energies can ultimately merge, because one of the most important things that we need to do in order to ascend to 5D is to merge and unify our masculine and feminine energies. And those of you who are familiar with or believe yourself to be part of a twin flame type journey, right? The twin flame journey, as most people understand it, is all about the interplay of that masculine and feminine energy and the healing of all those wounds between the masculine and the feminine. This is what we're acting out with a counterpart, with who we believe to be our twin flame. As we go further along in that journey, we begin to realize that our true twin flame is ourself. And that outer twin flame, the outer reflection of that energy, is simply there to reflect back to us what needs to be healed within us when it comes to our own interplay of masculine and feminine energies, right? And then we come back, we do the healing work on ourselves, we balance our own energies, we become unified within, right? We connect with our true twin flame, ourselves. We unify and merge that energy. And then we attract a sacred counterpart who is also balanced. That is the ultimate goal of the twin flame journey. And then, of course, we have many people who come together with another emanation of the twin flame energy, which many call the soul flame, which is that aspect of the self, that aspect of complementary energy, I guess you could also say, that has the same life blueprint, right? Has the same purpose and mission on this earth, so that mission can be completed. And that's a whole other step of the journey, right? But a lot of us, we're in this beginning stage. We're learning how to merge our own masculine and feminine energies. We're healing some of those energies of codependency, right? Some of those toxic cycles. And a lot of times how we heal those is by breaking free of those, by completing those, by removing ourselves from those cycles and doing the healing work that we need to do within ourselves. We are going to see possibly around this time a lot of reunions with people who have done the work, right? If we have a counterpart that we truly are meant to continue in this journey with, we may see a reunion with those energies around this time, like we said, if they have been willing to do the work as well. If they haven't, then we may be bringing in and attracting in a whole different type of counterpart who is ready, who has done that work, right? Because that's another thing when we talk about this twin flame type energy, that energy can be replaced. It's not just one person. And this is something that a lot of times people get confused about and they don't understand. That soul contract, if both people don't live up to it, that soul contract gets dissolved and a brand new contract is born. And we bring in somebody who is of the vibration and who is ready to do what we came to this earth to do with us, right? They're ready and willing to play the part that the other person could have played maybe if they had stepped up to the plate fully. And I don't mean that in a way that's dismissive of them. It's not an easy thing to do. And we all have a different pace that we grow and evolve at. All right. So, I mean, I say that with love. It sounded a little judgmental, and I don't want it to feel that way. But we're really seeing this, and this is with all relationships in our lives. We're seeing these energies playing out. Not just romantic relationships either, although there is a big emphasis on the energy of romantic relationships. But remember, our relationship with ourselves is what every other relationship we have in our lives is based upon. And so everything outer is a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. So it's really about healing that relationship with the self, about self-love, right? Everything always comes back to that energy of self-love. So we're seeing this in all of our relationships. We're seeing and understanding on a deeper level how we function in relationship, in all the different types of relationships in our lives, and how that comes back to our own inner sense of worthiness and to our own emotional health and well-being. And we're learning, we've been constantly learning, especially during this 222 cycle, these last 22 years, right? We've been learning this energy, this art of coming back within, right? Of no longer looking outwardly and deflecting, right? And instead looking within. Turning that mirror around, right? Turning that energy around and reflecting that back into the self, right? We stopped blaming others. We moved out of victim consciousness. This is a big part of the cycle as well. And we moved more deeply into this state of empowerment where we realize that it's all about the healing within the self, right? It's not about the other person. And for a long time, right, we were trained to believe that it was always the other person's fault. So we removed fault completely, right? Because we understand that these are all powerful cycles of growth that we all signed up for. And that is another really important aspect of moving out of that victim consciousness. And that is that energy of removing fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It simply is. Okay, so what did we learn? What did we gain? How can we do this better next time? That's the energy that we've been asked to cultivate. And how do I do this better? By addressing what's going on within me. right? Not addressing what's going on within you, but addressing what's going on within me. We're seeing this cycle amplified by the dance of the planets right now. And this is why I recommended that Mars, Venus, Pluto video, and which is also the Venus retrograde video. Venus's retrograde, of course, has finished, but she is still in her shadow period, and she will not complete that shadow period until she joins Mars in conjunction with Pluto on the 3-3 portal. Once again, a powerful date with this energy of these repeating numbers. This is when the masculine and the feminine have their final merger with the energy of Pluto, this final transformation, where that energy and that relationship between those energies is able to be reborn. Right now, as I'm filming this, it is the Leo full moon, and Mars and Venus are conjunct today in the sign of Capricorn as well. So we're getting a little preview of these energies. Mars and Venus have been dancing around each other for this, really the entire month of February. They'll be dancing around each other for most of the month of March, but they come into these exact points of meeting at certain times. This Leo full moon is one of those times. The conjunction with Pluto is another one of those times. What's interesting about this Leo full moon when I'm recording this video is that we actually had a Mars-Venus conjunction last July in the sign of Leo. So it's a revisitation to that little mini cycle that really gave us a burst of growth that's taken us through to this point. So it's definitely a check-in point for those energies, not just of the last 22 years, but then that since July of last year. How have we grown since that point? This is also, I just want to say and throw out there, a huge manifestation and creation gateway. Remember, your thoughts, your words, your choices. Very importantly, they wanted, when I was writing out the information for this video, the energy of choice was really highlighted. The choices we make during this gateway, which really, it comes to the climax on the 22nd, but I feel it closing out with that 3-3 portal. That's what determines the new timeline. The new beginning that we're starting, the new cycle that we're starting, whether or not we are starting a new cycle, or whether we're going to be continuing to repeat this one for a little while. But remember, when we're closing out these cycles, we're not just doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for the entire human collective. Because in order to ascend to 5D Earth, we have to get rid of all these old paradigms, right? We have to create new templates for the relationship between masculine and feminine energy, for the ways that this is expressed in the world, right? We have to heal these wounds and this trauma created by this distorted expression of masculine and feminine energies. Another thing that is going on with this 222 gateway, and this is kind of branching off a little bit. There are more numbers than just the twos involved here. The twos, the ones, and the zeros. We've been in a process of recoding the matrix, and this process really kicked off in the year 2000, and we saw it getting really intense in 2020. That was when I noticed this trend of these powerful events happening on and around these dates that involve twos, ones, and zeros. And so there is this rewriting of binary code, this rewriting of the matrix that has been going on as well. So this year, 2022, we are really completing that rewriting and recoding process. And then we're moving on from there. So the new Earth, we have recoded and reloaded the matrix. But the old hologram of the 3D matrix is still present for those who are still entrenched in that energy. And there's a lot of forces and energies that want to keep us plugged into that, to keep that hologram alive. So it's up to us whether we play into that energy or not. But there is a whole new energy. A lot of people ask, is 5D Earth coming? 5D Earth is here. It's a consciousness. It's a frequency. You can tap into it anytime. When enough of us are tapped into it together, that's when the collective reality shifts. And so that's what we're working on here. But the groundwork has been laid for that process. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else we want to talk about? This energy with the twos is also the energy of duality. And that is represented in the masculine and feminine, but it's also represented in a lot of other things too. And so this is the energy where we're learning about contrast. We're learning how to appreciate contrast. We're learning how to take seemingly opposing ideas and forces and to merge them together, right? And to merge them together to create unity. So we're moving out of the concept of duality and polarity into the energy of unity. By fully understanding both extremes of the spectrum, we can then bring them into cohesion together. Because remember, two sides of a coin are still two sides of the same coin. So that's the energy that we're beginning to understand. We've been asked to have a deeper respect for the energy of contrast, where that shows up in our lives, what it is that's teaching us, and to really learn how to reconcile those apparent opposites. I'm going to peruse my notes for a second before we do the reading to see if there's anything else that we want to talk about here. Yeah. So just clearing right now, you guys. We had Mercury conjunct Pluto earlier this month. And that was sort of another precursor, preparing us for this Mars-Pluto-Venus conjunction on the 3-3 portal, which is, like we said, tied into this 222 gateway energy as well. It's really preparing us for that merger of energy, for that ultimate unification energy. But that Mercury-Pluto conjunction really helped to bring to the forefront of our minds any fears, any phobias, any obsessions, any sort of kinks in the armor or weak links in the chain, I guess you could say, so that we could see those, so that we could understand those, and so that we could gain a greater sense of mental mastery and power moving forward. And when we have that Venus, Mars, and Pluto conjunction, that's going to be one of the biggest surges of power that we've felt in a really long time. So we really want to be utilizing and capitalizing on this 222 gateway energy to close out whatever we need to close out, to understand and come to those realizations we need to come to, and really step more deeply into our empowerment, take that control and that empowerment over our lives, and get ourselves ready and in alignment for this huge surge of energy that we can take and utilize to create something really powerful in our lives. So I want to start out, for some reason, I'm being called to the Sacred Sea Oracle. So we're going to pull a few cards about this 222 gateway energy from this deck, clear. And then I think we're going to do some Twin Flame Journey Tarot as well, because I want to see what energies we can get from that regarding these cycles that we're closing out, regarding any of this energy. But we're going to find out about this 222 gateway. Remember, this has also been a year where we've been, or 22 years really, where we've been receiving a lot of powerful downloads and activations to our energetic systems. And they've just been intensifying as the years have gone on. And really, since 2020 was a huge kickoff point where these energies intensified. 2000 to 2002 was big, right? As we moved into these energies, and we've had a really huge surge. 2012 was big, right? 2020 really. I mean, we don't need to. We don't need to go into what made 2020 big. We all know that was a huge year of shifts and transitions. All right, we have the Sacred Sea Serpent coming out, DNA activation. Yeah, see, there you go. Really powerful DNA activations. And since they just get, like we were talking about, more and more powerful every year, there's a lot that's shifting and changing as this groundwork is being laid. And I do believe that we are going to see a huge process of integration as we move into 2023. And just really giving us a chance to integrate everything that we've received, because we've received so much. There is so much that's shifting and changing in each and every single one of us at a DNA level. And remember, the Sacred Serpent also relates to the Kundalini energy, and the Kundalini energy, that energy that surges up and down the spine, right? It's like a serpent, or two serpents, really. The masculine and the feminine, the Ida and the Pingala. these two aspects, very important aspects of our nature. So really activating that Kundalini energy, activating that masculine and feminine energy, and the ways that those energies interplay and combine with each other in order to bring illumination, in order to bring, what's the word that I'm looking for? Enlightenment, right? Then we have the lobster spirit coming out, grounded enlightenment. So there you go. So this is where spirit is reminding us and telling us these DNA activations, these Kundalini activations, everything that we were just talking about that we've been experiencing, we need to ground those now. So this is a period in 2022, as we are still being activated, we're also beginning this grounding process, this process of integration, of really grounding them in. And so this is where we physically ground them into the earth by being present and interacting with the earth, right? But this is also where we take enlightenment. What is the use of becoming enlightened if we're not acting upon it? If we are not doing something with that, utilizing that wisdom, bringing that to the world. And so there's this energy of action, of what we're doing with these energies, with these activations. How are we using that? How are we helping to better the world through our own actions and efforts? How are we able to take that energy and do something productive with it, essentially? That's what we're being asked as we move forward, as these energies begin to integrate. I want to just take a little look here. The sacred message here is, the lobster is calling upon you to become aware of what you may have been neglecting to notice and acknowledge, or maybe even pretending not to know. Just as a lobster lives at the ocean's floor, what lies at your feet is a powerful guidance symbol, which can show you truths that have been pushed aside, buried deeply, or neglected for some other sense of pleasure, or simply as a way to avoid pain. Contemplate how this could also be occurring in other areas of your life. You can choose to see this card as a signal to awaken illumination and enlightenment to those aspects of your experience you are now lighting up and willing to transform. Use the Sacred Sea ritual to access a deeper understanding and grounding of how, a deeper grounding and understanding of how this connects you in this moment. And so it's really this energy. This is also about where we are being shown those things that still want to shift, those things that we have really buried deep, right? Because over this past 22 years, right, of this 2-2 cycle, we've dealt with different layers. Right? But there's always that thing that we bury a little deeper. And then other things come to light, so we bury it a little deeper. Because we just don't want to look at it. Like, we're willing to heal this, we're willing to heal that, we're willing to look at this wound. Right? We're willing to bring light to this. But there's always those things, those last things that we deal with. Because they're the most painful, usually. Right? And so those things are coming to the surface as we close out this cycle, which is why for some people it seems especially painful. And we start to doubt ourselves in how much work we've actually done and how much we've actually grown, because we're really getting to the root of it now. Right? We've begun that process, and we've plucked out a lot of weeds, and we've gotten some of those roots. But there's something really deeply rooted that's being tugged at now. And that Mercury-Pluto conjunction probably really helped to reveal some of that. And so we're feeling that tug, and we're wanting to resist like we've done in the past, but we know intuitively that it's time to stop resisting and to allow whatever needs to come to the surface so that we can heal it and clear it once and for all. And these DNA activations are really assisting in, because they're pushing everything to the surface as well, right? As our DNA gets activated, as our vibration rises, it naturally brings everything up to the surface that is not a match, right? It's the analogy, and I love it. It's in the Starseed, or not the Starseed Oracle, the Lightworkers Oracle, I believe it is, where they talk about the analogy of a glass of water, and how, like, if there's mud on the bottom of the glass, the rest of the water looks clear until you shake it up. But until you shake it up, you're never going to be able to, the water's never going to be really clean. if you don't address the dirt on the bottom of the glass. It's just easy to ignore, right? Because it's all compounded on that bottom there. And most of it looks really clear and smooth. But it's like the glass is being shaken up now. And on the bottom of the deck, and this is beautiful, we have the Code Keepers of Divine Love. Be in love. And so there are beautiful codes coming through for us of divine love. And really, this is what we're learning how to experience, right? We're learning how to experience divine love. Divine love is something that has rarely been experienced on this planet. In order to experience divine love, right, that divine love starts with the self. And once we have true divine love within the self, we can extend that to others, right? We can experience that with others. Because remember, everybody else is simply a reflection of us. We are all one. And so how I love me is how I love you. Right? So as we clear out all these old templates, these distorted templates of love, we are finally able to begin to experience what divine love is. We experience this with the self. And then we also are able to experience this with others. For most people, the closest they've ever come to experiencing divine love is the love they feel for their children. All right, that is divine love. But even that gets distorted, right? There's a purity to it, but it becomes distorted over time with expectation, with conditioning, with all sorts of other things, because there's still underlying trauma that colors that experience for many. All right? There's guilt, there's shame, there's all kinds of emotions. But this true divine love, this is what we are bringing to this planet. And when we begin experiencing this on this planet, that is part of the energy that also blasts us into 5D. All right, I was shown this in reference to the twin flame journey once. What I was shown is that when two counterparts come together physically, in perfect union, in this energy of perfect divine love, without any of the other bullshit in the way, they create a portal of love and a portal of energy. And these portals of energy are what also help to shift us into that 5D energy. And so that's that energy. But to be in love with you, like we said, I have to be in love with me. And this is, of course, card number 11. I want to see if there's anything I want to read from this for you guys. Let's see. Yes, here we go. The Code Keepers of Divine Love have appeared before you in this moment to signal, as a signal from your higher self, that it is time to activate more divine love within your own beingness. You may be doing this already, and this card is cheering you on as you get to celebrate your unification with the divine frequency of love. Become the divine love you are desiring. The codes to activate this have been released as you have access to the Code Keepers of Divine Love. As you become familiarized with the sensations of divine love, you will begin to see and feel them everywhere. Remember, just like we said, it starts with me, it radiates out. And then I'm able to experience it without as well. This whole and complete level of love is the activation of your divine feminine and divine masculine, merging and dancing together. It all happens within your own being. It is a slow, gentle, and appreciative feeling, and feels like falling into deep love with your own skin, your own form, your body, mind, and heart, your thoughts, and your soul's essence. It's like coming into divine love alignment with your own self exactly the way you are. Touch your arms, your face, your head, and your hair the way you want to be touched and adored. Adore yourself and let this become a practice to deepen your love toward yourself. Feel yourself cherish every inch of your body. Drench your body in soul love. Tickle your senses back to life and become present, deeply present in this moment of your life. This moment is so beautiful. You are alive and in love with the moment. You are in alignment with divine love. And so really, that inner union energy right here. But in order to achieve this inner union energy, we have to face the things that we haven't been willing to face. Right? So huge, huge, powerful activations around that. And then underneath that, we have the Sea Goddess of Abundance. Right? So we love that energy too. All right, let's see what, because I know you guys want to get into this. So let's see what energies we can get from the Twin Flame Journey Tarot. What stories, what potential cycles are we closing out? What's going on here? What does Spirit want to tell us? clear. What do inquiring minds want to know? The collective for which I channel these messages. Two gateway. All right. So we have Strength, the Devil, and the Two of Wands coming out together. So we have the Strength card in this deck is all about restraint. The Devil card, and I like, it's a lion, right? I mean, the Strength's always got a lion on it, but I'm just, we are in that full moon in Leo right now, so I love that lion's coming out, that Leo card. Strength card represents Leo energy. Then we got the Devil, which can represent Capricorn energy. All right, so we got the Leo and the Capricorn. What signs did we have those conjunctions of Mars and Venus in? Leo last year and Capricorn this year. And planning and decisions. So this is where many people, I feel like during this energy, during this cycle, we've been learning how to show restraint in the face of our obsessions. And how to, this is kind of like that energy when you want to react, when you want to make a snap decision, when you want to move forward on an impulse, but instead we've been learning how to curb those impulses and how to plan, how to think strategically, right? That's the Capricorn energy. How to think ahead, right? So it's this energy of really overcoming all of these devil energies, all of these areas where we lack boundaries, right? All of these habits that have kept us trapped in this is the cycles right here. These are those cycles that we've been moving out of. These are the cycles that kept us trapped, that we're finally developing the ability to move beyond. But it all starts with this energy of learning how to show restraint. Learning how to not be impulsive, right? Learning how to not act on our old wounding. But yeah, it also feels like we have a lot of people right now who've been really holding back. There's been something or someone on your mind, something that, even though you may not be acting on this energy, it's been very present in the mental space. This obsession, whoever and whatever it is that we are thinking about. There's been something that's really been capitalizing on our mental space, but instead of jumping into something, we've been really pulling our energy back to decide and to set firm intentions. This is all about learning how to set firm intentions. And to really decide what it is that we want. Does this thing that I'm desiring have substance for me? And really looking at our intentions, understanding our intentions better, right? What is the motivation behind this desire? Why am I drawn to this person or this thing, right? What is it really? What do they really represent for me? What do I really want? So this also feels like in the past, we got twin flame connection coming out, the Lovers. This feels to me, when this comes to relationships, people in the past who perhaps, this is where you would have had situations where people cheated, people left, right? People made these snap decisions. And where they wished they had known how to show restraint, but they hadn't been able to. They were simply acting on their lower impulses without thinking, and this may have been one of the things that one or both parties had to learn how to overcome. Was this energy of acting out of impulse. It was the need, learning how to show restraint. Learning how to have strength, how to master our own demons. Because a lot of us, we or people we were involved with, had a habit of letting our demons sort of take the reins. And so this may have been a problem in the past. This may have been energy just energies that we were dealing with. This inability to show restraint. This inability to think things through, right? And so now we're learning how to think things through. We're learning how to show restraint, and how to really get clear about who and what it is that we want, what it is that is worth our time. But there are definitely people, this to me feels like people wanting to reunite with other people, or people wanting to start something new with somebody new that they feel this deep connection with. But really, it's just all in the mental space right now. There's a lot of thinking about it, but there's not a lot of doing. And that may be because of these situations in the past where you just jumped into things, either with this person or with another. And so there's this energy of wanting to plan things out, wanting to think things through before acting on something. But definitely people who have been thinking and putting a lot of thought, effort, and energy into who they want to connect with. If this is an outer connection, right? And for those where this is your inner twin flame connection, you've really learned this is about you overcoming the energy of the mind, overcoming this impulsive energy that causes you to act in ways that you later regret, and learning how to think more long term, right? Learning how to think more in that Capricornian energy. Really healing and balancing that masculine energy more. And then we have the Queen of Swords, sharp and assertive, all right? With the Two of Cups, divine partnership. So so now what I'm feeling is, I'm feeling for one thing, this energy of being able to speak up for what it is that you want. This is learning how to speak up for how to demand the type of love and respect that you deserve. And really knowing, it's like knowing, with this Queen of Swords energy, knowing how to be assertive, knowing how to cut things out and cut things off that aren't meant for you, right? So with this feminine energy here, there's this energy of, in the past, not being able to voice our needs and desires. There's been this energy of putting up with people, or it's like seeing the red flags and ignoring them. Right? So this time around, we don't do that. We are very blunt. We are very clear about what we think, what we feel, what we want, and what we need. And so I really feel like, even with this energy, where we have this energy of hesitation here, this energy of learning how to plan and decide before moving forward, this energy is progressing to the point where it is going to move forward and be very clear about who and what they want. Really moving towards that divine partnership. But taking the steps necessary to do that first, instead of just jumping in. And this is because one or both parties have also, like we said, learned how to be assertive, how to ask for what they need. They've also learned with these clocks, right? How to respect divine timing. And how to wait for divine timing and not try to force things through that aren't ready to fit. This is also the energy where we're learning not to settle for something that is less than what it is that we deserve. This is learning how to communicate effectively. And then we have the Knight of Cups, romantic gesture coming out. Yeah. So this is, just what we said, right? This is the energy of people coming together, the energy of unification, but this is like overcoming those past cycles in order to come into a much more, a cycle where there is reciprocity, right? Where there's even give and take, where no party feels like they're being taken advantage of, because both are giving and receiving in balance with each other. Where we're actually beginning and initiating cycles with people who are on the same wavelength as us. With people who want the same things as us. We're not trying to change people into who and what we want them to be. Yeah, I'm just really getting this energy like somebody needed to learn how to speak up here. Somebody needed to learn how to speak up for what they want and what they need. And somebody still, I feel like in this energy, if there's a specific connection that I'm picking up on right now, in this energy, there's a person wanting to come around, possibly back around. And when they do, the object of their affection is going to be much more, they're going to be much more Queen of Swords now. Where they might have been a pushover before, that pushover energy is not going to fly now. It's going to be a whole new situation. Because this person has really grown and evolved into somebody who sees and knows their worth and isn't going to settle for less and is not afraid to not even ask for, but demand what it is that they know they deserve. So be prepared for that. If there's anybody watching this and you've been putting a lot of time and effort into thinking about how it is that you can come back around or how it is that you can approach somebody, just know that like they're, especially if this is a situation from the past that's reigniting here, they're going to have some words for you. And if this is somebody new that you've been desiring, I feel like part of the reason that you desire them is because they do have this energy, right? It's like with this energy, you can see it's like she's completely surrendered into her feminine. But at the same time, she's very much in control and very empowered. So that's the energy. That's part of the energy that is the draw here. Yeah. And then we have the Chariot here with the Ace of Wands, spark charging ahead. Yeah, so there's a lot of forward movement and momentum happening here for people. A lot of forward momentum and movement. The Ace of Wands was inverted, but I'm not feeling that energy. I'm feeling it upright. And where it might have been reversed was where there wasn't the spark before. That spark is now. That spark is now present. Yeah. But this, for a lot of people, is where we're really learning. We're learning how to go after what we want. That's where that masculine energy comes in too, right? Learning how to go after what we want. Learning how to be honest with ourselves about what it is that we want and what we desire. Three of Pentacles, collaboration. So there's a lot of coming together here, a lot of teamwork, a lot of collaboration, creating things together, right? There's that three energy, right? That energy of creation. This is where we're coming together to bring projects, right? This is where we're coming together in our life mission toward our purpose. We're combining resources. We're combining ideas, talents, skills. Universal alignment, the star. Yeah. So this is beautiful energy. This is beautiful energy of coming into alignment with one another. Got the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck here. Yeah. This beautiful nurturing energy. this healing, right? Star represents trust, vulnerability, healing. So there's a lot of powerful healing that is happening for people in their connections. Whether this is an old connection, a reunion of energies and healing there, or whether this is somebody new that's coming into your reality that's sort of like that final step of healing for you. Or it's kind of like shows the amount of healing that you've done, right? The fact that you were able to attract this person into your reality shows how much you've grown. And sometimes when we're in this process, though, we come across those old patterns again, so that we can step out of those once and again, right? The universe kind of tests us. That old energy echo comes through just to see if we're going to bite. And this is part of how we close out those cycles, is if we have those old energies coming up, we nip those right in the bud, right? That's where that Queen of Swords energy comes out. We nip those right in the bud. We got the Fool activation on the bottom of the deck. I love that. And we don't play in that energy, right? We don't wade in that pool anymore. If we climb back into that wading pool, the universe is going to be like, okay, that's where you want to play, right? If that energy comes back and we come into our Queen of Swords and we say, absolutely not, I am not, this is not what I want, this is not what I'm attracting, I know that I deserve something better, and we let that energy go immediately, that allows that new energy to come in, right? So sometimes we may experience that first. And it's all about what we're choosing, right? All right, I want to see, what else do I want to pull to end this right now? Yeah, I want to pull from the Akashic Tarot for you guys. Two Gateway. Clear. Let's get some closing energies for this 222 Gateway. The energy with the restraint too, with the Lion. This is also pointing toward, I think, people who pulled back their energy and who perhaps became celibate for some time, or who removed themselves from relationships altogether in order to heal and to grow and to move out of cycles, right? To move out of those devil energies and really remove themselves from the whole game, right? So they showed incredible restraint in that way, and did that healing work that was necessary, and really set those powerful intentions for what kind of partner they wanted to attract. And now that energy is going to be coming in for you. I don't want to say it's the reward, but it kind of is the reward, right? But you have to be strong. You have to stay in your Queen of Swords. You have to hold your boundaries. You have to stay focused on what it is that you want and not accept anything less. Those are the tests. Those are the challenges. All right, so we have Archangel Gabriel coming out. We have the Oracle of Delphi. Setting your course. And the Muse. So let's read a little bit about Archangel Gabriel here. But I feel like there's a lot of energy here right off the bat of people being inspired, right? Being inspired, really connecting in with your own intuitive abilities. And those really continuing to blossom as we move through this energy. But let's get some energy here. These cards are really interesting. So we're going to see what this message is, and how it was put together and how it resonates for us here. Yeah, so the Archangel Gabriel, where this was reversed, this speaks to a lack of communication. You're not speaking out for yourself, or you're filling your own mind with negative words. And this is a cycle, right? This is a major cycle that we've been working out of. And we've been really, we talked about this with that Mercury-Pluto conjunction, right? Being aware of what's going on within our own minds. That energy of mastering the mind, and the Strength card speaks to that energy as well. Mastering the mind. So that's coming up again. The self-talk, the self-critic. That energy coming up again. This could be a life lesson for you. Something you've needed to change for a long time. Gabriel is a powerful force that can bring divine love and courage to your expression, and his help is yours for the asking. It's time for you to reach out to this wonderful angel who is always available and willing to help. Let his peaceful yet powerful presence fill you with courage now. This angel has been a friend to your soul throughout the history of the Akashic Records. This time of confusion or disruption in communication is a perfect opportunity to reawaken yourself to that profound friendship and to your worthiness and power to express yourself and speak your truth. So figure out what you need to say, meditate on Gabriel's loving presence, and start to get comfortable hearing your own positive and powerful voice. It's time to speak up, not shut up. And so this is that Queen of Swords energy we were sensing again too, right? When we really learn how to step into our power and find our voice. That's something that we've been learning during this cycle. And that, yes, we learned that a lot through relationship, right? I know I certainly did. But we learned that in a lot of different ways through a lot of different types of friendships and relationships. Then we have the Oracle of Delphi. When you receive this card, you're in a time of great insight and psychic power. Even if you don't recognize it yet, it lies very close to your consciousness because you have used this gift in so many past lives. You may get images or feelings without knowing how to interpret them. Take notes as you practice both your psychic perceptions and their interpretations. Just as they gave the Oracle of Delphi a profound awareness, your psychic perceptions and their interpretations give you a powerful insight and an Akashic vision of the world. So this is really, what this feels like to me too is, this cycle that we're closing out here, this energy goes way beyond just like being able to speak up for what we need and what we think and speak our truth in relationships and life situations. This is also when it comes to the powerful people having visions, people chant, like the information that you're channeling, the knowledge that you're channeling, being afraid to speak up and share that. That's what I feel for some people too, is there's a lot that you've been receiving that you've been afraid to share with others, and you're really meant to share this with others. It's really important for you. And so it's learning how to have the courage to speak up and share what you're seeing, thinking, and feeling. To really step up and embrace our gifts, right? There's this core wound, this collective wound that we've been healing for a long time. That healers and gifted people in general, and remember, we're all gifted, it's just whether we've tapped into it yet or not. The healer's wound, this wound around being persecuted for speaking our truth, for sharing our gifts with the world. And so there's a big healing being brought to that for people, I think, or the possibility of healing around that throughout these past 22 years in this 222 gateway as well, which is interesting that that's coming up. So don't be afraid to speak your truth and to share the transmissions that are coming through. And I also feel like for many people, you're going to begin having more and more psychic impressions come through that are going to assist you in setting your course and your intention for the future. Like it's really like showing you and helping you to understand where it is that you're going. Or where it is to aim the bow of your ship, it almost feels like. So we're going to take a little look here. If I can find the scrolls. And I believe the scrolls are like the swords. I believe that's the mind energy. Let's see. Yeah, So this is all about moving out of the energy where it was, I believe, inverted. This is us moving out of the energy of allowing ourselves to hold ourselves back, right? This energy of keeping ourselves small. Also the energy of miscommunication. So that keeps coming up again and again. There's so much that we've been learning through this 222 cycle about communication, how to communicate effectively, how to know our truth, understand and accept our truth, and speak and communicate that truth to others. Yeah, so there's a lot of this energy of where it is that we've been keeping ourselves small, holding ourselves back, not allowing ourselves to dream big enough. And really stepping out of that energy and broadening our horizons. And we are going to be receiving, I do believe, a lot of these little nudges from Spirit, helping us to move forward in the direction that we're meant to go. We're also going to be receiving a lot of inspiration from the people around us to help us moving forward on our life path. And we're going to look at that a little bit here, this energy of the Muse. This card shows a time of very heightened resourcefulness and inventiveness for you. Any creative project, new or old, can receive exceptional energy right now, both from you and from the universe. Call to the spirit muses and let them join you and the creator within to lift your project to the skies. And like I said, it feels like us also drawing in people who inspire us and support us and help us to move forward with our dreams. Remember, this is not just romantic partnerships. This is all partnerships and relationships that we're working with here. This is our own creative energies. So a lot of inspiration coming through from the higher realms, and a lot of support and inspiration coming through from the people in our lives to help us move forward on our life path, to keep us going, to keep us moving forward. And a lot of support here from the angelic realms toward speaking our truth and really continuing to live in this energy of honesty moving forward. To live in our truth. Yeah, we have community on the bottom of the deck. So this energy of coming together with others, very powerful and very strong as well. All right, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. It was very interesting. A lot of interesting energies and messages coming through here. Clear. Powerful energies that we're working with. Like I said, check out the live that I do with Pete on the Chosen 144 on the 2/22/22 date itself. It's going to be really powerful. We're going to have a lot of fun. I know we're going to get into a lot of really interesting topics. I would love to see you guys there. Check out the other videos that I linked in the description box below if you haven't yet. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, and let me know. There are links to donate to the channel down below as well. If you are new, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell with the little squigglies so you get notifications. We put out new videos all the time on this channel. We're always looking into all of the different angles of this ascension process and our own personal growth and development. It's a beautiful tribe. If you like the vibe, come and join us. We would love to have you here. And what else? My email's down below. I have a lot of personal services that I offer. I do a lot of one-on-one work with people. If you feel so called to do that with me, you can get in touch with me through my email down below. My website is also linked. You guys are amazing. I love you. I appreciate you so much. This is big work that we're doing, you guys. We could have gone for hours reading for this topic, honestly, because there's so much to cover. There's so much that we're doing. Just know that I see you and I honor you for showing up and doing this work day after day. Just being present on this earth right now. Whether we realize it and we're doing it consciously or not, we are doing the work. So I salute you for that. I have so much respect and so much love for each and every one of you, and I will talk to you soon.